time for a makeover. This area was being underutilized and it gets great sun, so I decided to build raised beds here. This area was filled with lava rocks, so I moved and stored them just in case it could be used elsewhere. Whenever I'm outside, my dogs want to play, and here's Philip bringing me the frisbee. I measured the area to see how much wood I would need. This is fir wood that was going to be trash, so I'm repurposing it for my project. Fir wood is also a good wood species for outdoor use. Measuring, it looks good. This piece had a crack down the middle, and I wanted to use it for a side of my raised bed. A little glue and clamps will seal the crack. Let it set for at least 1 hour. Moving on to start chopping this very heavy board. Maneuvering it was work. I examined the board to see which areas I should keep and which I should chop off. And always,
Of course the other side's better. Why wouldn't it be?
I normally don't wear gloves, but this wood was filthy, so I did. I added some scrap pieces under the board to balance it on my miter saw. I know everyone doesn't do this, but it's best to wait till your blade stops spinning before lifting. In this case I did because the board was so heavy and I needed both hands. And look at that grain. It's time for everyone's favorite part of woodworking, sanding. I'm using a 50 grit to get through the dirt faster. If only I had a planer, that's my next buy. Here I'm ripping stakes for the corners of my raised bed. I ripped a total of 6. I'm making repetitive cuts, so I set up a stop block. My block does not have a clearance at the bottom, so I waited till my blade came to a complete stop before lifting it. If you don't wait, your block will lift with the blade and moving it out of its place. Here I almost made a mistake. I'm so glad that I caught it. However, here I did make a mistake. This was my first time using a sprayer, so I was excited because staining my hand is a drag to me. I stained both sides of these boards, and this stain is not food safe. Don't worry, later I realized my mistake and I sanded down everything again. Lining the inside of your raised bed with landscape fabric is optional, but I read it helps with fluctuations in temperature, so I did it. The stakes are going to hold your corners together, so drill a screw into each side, one going into the face of the board and the other going into the side piece. Adding cardboard to the bottom of your raised beds helps prevent weeds from sprouting. Just throw it in. It doesn't have to be pretty, who's gonna know? Just try to cover as much as you can. I started adding organic matter and leveled the ground. My dogs were very eager to play, especially Alice. Logs are great to put at the bottom of your raised bed. I'm lucky we had some laying around the backyard. I cut them in half even though I was scared bugs would come out, but luckily none did. Filling a raised bed with organic matter will reduce the amount of soil you will need later. I still use 3 bags, but that's way better than 6 bags. Take the time to plan and mark where you are going to plant your seedling babies. It really makes your life easier. I spaced mine about 1 foot apart. It was the best I could do with the space. And these are my tomato babies. Here I'm popping in my seeded potatoes. I made holes where I wanted to put them and place them roots up in the ground. Wherever the hose goes, Alice goes. So these are my seedlings 2 weeks later. I was worried about the spacing, but they are growing fine. So happy with how the space turned out and to be able to utilize it to grow food for my family. Get out there, build and grow, people.